Meet the most decorated Olympian of all time, Michael Phelps. The man with more gold medals than 66 countries has been a beast in the swimming pool, boasting a body that was made more for water than land and a mind strong enough to push through the kind of pain most people would faint over. But outside the pool, Phelps has often struggled to be golden, making him seem a mere mortal and a man we can possibly even relate to. Nobody swam better than the Baltimore Bullet, but even this gun is no match for the truth. A wingspan is the distance from one wingtip to another wingtip, and is one of the most impressive attributes in physiology, as it is used as a measure which separates the great from the good. In the bird family, none have a greater wingspan than the wandering albatross, which can range from 2.5 to 3.5 meters. When it comes to insects, the white witch moth has a wingspan of 28 centimeters, more than any other insects.
I put the sweat of my life into this thing. I have my reputation rolled up in it. And I have stated several times that if it's a failure, I'll probably leave this country and never come back, and I mean it.
And as far as aircraft is concerned, no plane boasted a bigger wingspan than the Howard Hughes-built monster known as the Spruce Goose.
The Howard Hughes flying boat has a wingspread of 320 feet, and that gives you some idea of its size.
Human wingspan, or from fingertip to fingertip, is generally the same measurement as one's height, as was depicted in Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. But there is one swimmer whose physiology clearly challenges this theory, American Michael Phelps. Because the Baltimore, Maryland native has a wingspan that is 10 centimeters longer than his height. Phelps stands 1.93 m, while his wingspan is 2.03 meters. It's one of his secrets to success, and no doubt helped him win gold at Beijing in 2008 in the 100-meter butterfly, outreaching Serbia's Milorad Kavic by just a fingertip.
Physiologically, if you look at him, he's sort of like 3/5 upper body, 2/5 lower body, so kind of like a little bit of a dolphin. And his underwater off the walls has been the main bit where he's been destroying people. I think the actual swimming part in a lot of the races isn't swim any faster, but if he takes this much off each wall off everybody else, then that makes the difference between him winning and losing.
Of course, this still is no comparison to basketball players. In fact, the longest wingspan recorded is that of the late Manute Bol, who had a wingspan of 2.59 meters. Coming up, the rise of the Baltimore Bullet. Every athlete would love to leave the sport they love on top. In 2016, Denver Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning did just that after winning his second Super Bowl. That same year, other illustrious names in American sport called time on their careers, like San Antonio Spurs legendary power forward and 5-time NBA champion Tim Duncan. And Boston Red Sox Big Pappy, 10-time All-Star and 3-time World Series champion, slugger David Ortiz. The year also marked the end of the greatest career ever witnessed in a swimming pool, that of the Baltimore Bullet, Michael Phelps. But for Phelps, retirement meant the only thing he'd be competing for is legroom on planes.
Basically, retirement for me is just not competitive swimming anymore. That's the only difference. I mean, I'm traveling more than I ever have. We're traveling, appearances and mini vacays here and there, so it's nice, but it's retirement, I don't know. It's a tough word.
It's hard to walk away from essentially the only thing he's known since he first gave swimming a go at 7 years of age. But now that he has walked away, he has all the time in the world to process how his career unfolded. He'll need it.
Honestly, it'll take years before I can fully comprehend everything that's happened in my career. You know, the biggest thing for me was, I guess now where I am, I'm just getting through 2008. So, you know, I have 8 more years of stuff to go through and try to figure out what happened and enjoy the ride and the memories.
When he was a child, Michael Phelps was scared to even put his face underwater. Hence, the backstroke was his first discipline of choice. But soon, the water would become his domain. Training at the North Baltimore Aquatic Club under coach Bob Bowman, practice was slowly making perfect.
It's one reason why we train 7 days a week, why we train on Christmas, why we train on Thanksgiving, 365 days a year. There aren't many clubs that train 7 days a week, so that gives you one extra set training session every single week where you can pick something up. So, I mean, if I'm getting 52 more practices than everybody else is, that's gonna make that little or big difference in the end.
Already a national champion at age 10, Phelps became the youngest male to make a US Olympic swim team in 68 years when he headed for Sydney in 2000. He didn't win a medal, but he finished 5th in the 200-meter butterfly final. But at the 2001 World Championships, he became the youngest 200-meter butterfly world record holder. At just 15 years and 9 months, he destroyed the previous record set by Australia's Ian Thorpe.
That's my friends. They're like, that's the only person they've ever heard of in swimming. I mean, they're like, oh, how's that Thorpe guy going? And I mean, it's just a topic of conversation every now and then.
Then at the 2003 World Championships, Phelps dominated. 4 gold, 2 silver, no contest. One of those gold included the duel in the pool against Thorpe in the 200-meter individual medley. And so, heading to the 2004 Athens Olympics, Phelps had 2 goals in mind. The first was a far less humble one than attempting to break Mark Spitzer's record of 7 gold medals won in a single games.
The first goal is get 1. You know, I mean, I came back from Sydney with nothing. I think once you're an Olympic gold medalist or an Olympic medalist, it's the biggest thing in the sport of swimming. So, you know, my goal is to obviously hopefully win 1 gold medal, and then we'll work from there.
The second goal? To ruin Ian Thorpe's reign in the freestyle.
One thing I always wanted to do was race Thorpe in a freestyle event. It's something that I haven't had the opportunity to do so far in my career, and it's something that I want to do. I think this is probably the best opportunity for me to be able to swim in probably the fastest 200 freestyle heat in history.
It wasn't the fastest in history, and Phelps only snagged a bronze. But while still a teenager, he added another bronze and 6 gold to that list, posting the second best Olympic performance ever behind Mark Spitzer's 1972 Summer Games spectacle.
I think having the last 2 Olympics sort of under my belt is just sort of, you know, I've been able to experience so much. You know, with not only with the Olympics, but I think over the last 8 years, from being the 15-year-old boy in Sydney that really had no clue what I was doing, to being able to be still a 23-year-old boy who hasn't really grown up that much, but you know, I've been able to learn so much along the way that I think has helped me grow. And one, relax more, but also, you know, be prepared for more.
My, what a difference time makes. Because if Michael Phelps was swimming's big promise before Athens, heading to the 2008 Beijing Games, he was one of the biggest names the Olympics had to offer.
All my friends keep telling me they're sick and tired of seeing my mug on TV, but nothing I can do about that.
Now, with a series of magazine covers and lucrative endorsement deals to his name, Beijing would present the Flying Fish with an opportunity previously deemed impossible. That of breaking Spitz's 7 gold medals in a single Games record. Just don't compare the two.
I want to be the first Michael Phelps. I don't want to be the second Mark Spitz. You know, I'm not downplaying his achievements by any means. You know, what he did is still the best Olympic, you know, performance of all time. And, you know, I'm just trying to do things that nobody else has done before.
Mission accomplished, Mr. Phelps. Finishing first in every event he participated in, Phelps went 8 for 8, taking home more gold in one edition of the Games than any other Olympian. 8 medals in Beijing, a fitting number when you consider 8 is a lucky number in Chinese culture.
I guess it's a lucky number for me now, too. Seeing 8808 and you know, opening ceremony starting at 8:08. I guess it was maybe meant to be, I don't know.
And just like that, Spitz was now second.
It was amazing. I had gold chains, and I didn't have those fancy suits, so he has all of those ribbons. Pretty impressive. I think the medals are a little larger than mine, or maybe it's just because he's got 8 of them and I only had 7.
Meanwhile, back in Baltimore, things went off the hook.
This is definitely a blue-collar city. You know, we like hard work, and that right there just shows hard work.
With 14 gold medals, Phelps became the most successful Olympian ever, drawing the praises of another American Olympic legend.
I did what I did in the last millennium, or the last century. It's a new century, and it's Michael's time, so I'm really congratulate him. He's a great kid, and he's going to do great things, and hopefully people can follow his model for what the Olympic spirit is, because he embellishes everything of what it means.
It feels good being back in America.
Michael Phelps returned to the United States a national hero, and seemingly could do no wrong. But in 2009, the Baltimore Bullet had a serious misfire. After the break, more medals and misfires for Michael Phelps. The 2008 Beijing Games not only turned Michael Phelps into an Olympic medal-winning machine, but a money-making one too. Signing lucrative endorsement deals in the tens of millions of dollars, Phelps had a universal superhero appeal.
I think if you're trying to target males, he's an aspirational. Women think he's good-looking. I think the old, the young, the new, I think he goes beyond boundaries, which is very rare for an athlete.
He even used some of the $1 million Speedo promised him if he won 7 gold medals at the Games. He one-upped that number to start the Michael Phelps Foundation and support various youth swimming programs.
Today is going to be a fun start to me trying to achieve my goal outside of the pool, which is to raise the bar in the sport of swimming and attract new faces.
Unfortunately for Phelps, a few months later, he'd become the face of frivolity. After a picture surfaced in a British tabloid showing the Olympic record holder smoking weed from a pipe. USA Swimming suspended their star for 3 months, during which he considered quitting altogether. But better judgment prevailed.
I was like, what am I doing even thinking about, quitting or retiring? Like, I'm 23, I'm not retiring at 23. I have 4 more years left in my career, and there are still things that I want to accomplish.
Those accomplishments included adding more gold to his Olympic tally at London 2012. Phelps's arrival in London came with plenty of fanfare, but also with a few shock failures along the way. At the 2009 World Championships, Phelps lost his first race in 4 years, losing to Germany's Paul Biedermann in the 200-meter freestyle final. It took me 5 years to get Michael from 146 to 142, and this guy has done it in 11 months. That's an amazing training performance. I'd like to know how to do that, said Phelps's trusty coach, Bob Bowman. In reality, Bowman and the rest of the swimming world knew Biedermann had a little help that day. His now banned full polyurethane swimsuit. At the 2010 US Nationals, Phelps lost to rival Ryan Lochte for the first time in a major meet, finishing second in the 200-meter individual medley. And at the 2011 World Championships, Phelps lost to Lochte again, and also earned himself his first ever bronze in a World Aquatic Championships. All in all, the post-Beijing blues was real, and Phelps felt it big time.
I think really after like 2008, I just didn't want to do it. I knew deep down inside I wanted to, but it probably, I probably just didn't want to put in the work. Actually, I just didn't want to put in the work.
But the passion eventually returned, and Phelps landed in London, intent on making this Games his last.
I will be retiring after London. My mom wants to go to Rio. We can go on vacation there, but I will not be swimming after London.
Phelps swam his way to 4 more gold medals and 2 silvers. With 18 gold in total, he left London with twice as many golds as any other Olympian in history.
I think it's just time to move on. There are other things that I want to do in my life, and I'm not sure staring at a black line for 4 hours a day is one of those. I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin. I'm just gonna take one step at a time, one day at a time. If I want to go and do something, I'm just gonna go and do it.
Being a competitive swimmer is extremely demanding, draining, and even depleting, if you think of nothing else but swimming. And Michael Phelps was one of those guys. And so, a free man after London, he finally got to do whatever he wanted. Like meet his idol, Michael Jordan, during a taping of a talk show. Shoot a few rounds of golf at the mythical Old Course at St Andrews with actor Bill Murray.
It's a frustrating game. It's a humbling game, but it's a game that I enjoy.
And attend the odd awards ceremony, never leaving empty-handed.
Phelps, again! The man can't stop winning!
And then 2014 came along, and he'd had enough.
I think for me, being able to do, really nothing for a year and a half, 2 years. I traveled, I played golf, I gained 30 pounds. I had a lot of fun, and there was something that I missed.
The Baltimore Bullet returned to the pool, and although his race times weren't up to his stratospheric standards, he was on the right track and in a right frame of mind.
Like I said the other day, I'm doing this because I want to, and I'm doing it because I'm having fun.
Perhaps he was having too much fun. Because in September 2014, Phelps was arrested on charges of driving under the influence of alcohol and speeding back in Baltimore. It was humbling, it was humiliating, and it cost him a 6-month suspension from USA Swimming.
The last 3 months of my life have been some of the hardest times I've ever gone through, and some of the biggest learning experiences that I've ever had. Finding a lot about myself and
you know, for this day, it's I'm happy to be moving forward.
The 2016 Rio Olympics presented Michael Phelps in a manner never seen before. For one, he scaled back his monster 1,200 calorie a day intake and focused more on strengthening exercises instead. He also took alcohol out of the equation.
Without having one, I'm actually happy every day. I'm actually able to be productive every day. I think that's something that I am very proud of.
He secretly married model and longtime partner, 2010 Miss California, Nicole Johnson, and became a dad for the first time. All those positive changes outside the pool paved the way for further success inside it. 5 gold, 1 silver. With multiple medals at 31 years of age, Phelps left competitive swimming for good with a record 28 medals, 23 of which were gold, and 13 of those coming from individual events. Phelps was finally finished, this time truly on his terms.
I'm in the best place possible, you know, everything, and with everything that's going on in my life, and this is what I wanted to finish my career. You know, this is the cherry I wanted to put on top of the cake. And you know, when I decided to come back, I wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to challenge myself in the pool and workouts. I wanted to see, you know, how much more I could actually do, and I wanted to prepare myself the best way possible. And looking back at, you know, the 2+ years that I spent training, I don't have anything else that's left. You know, I have a future ahead of me that I'm looking forward to, with growing a family and teaching more kids to be water safe, growing the sport of swimming. I mean, the list is endless of things that I want to do.
Still to come, the greatest American hero. To win as many medals as Michael Phelps has, clearly there is something uniquely different about him. Besides his aforementioned wingspan and his arms acting as paddles, his gargantuan-sized 14 feet are like flippers, and his double-jointed ankles cause for maximum thrust through the water. Phelps was also diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, when he was in the 6th grade. But learning how to use the power of the mind to focus on tasks at school, this rigidness became another weapon in the pool. He also had the same coach since he was 11 years old. Bob Bowman acted as Phelps' regimented drill sergeant, which is the perfect complement when you consider the swimmer's incompatibility with training. Training with Bob is the smartest thing I've ever done. I'm not going to swim for anyone else, announced Phelps before Beijing. It seems that wherever the Baltimore Bullet went, he couldn't shake his trusty coach, who taught his pupil that the secret to swimming fast was in the sound of it all.
The thing that I like most about Michael is all of his strokes, when he's going well, they're very quiet. So if you just hear his hand just slipping in the water, that's usually really good. If you hear a big splash or clunking, that's not so good.
In many ways, they were the oddest couple in the world of competitive swimming, but they were united by one common conquering goal.
Bob and I always wanted to become the greatest and the best, and you know, we've been able to do that.
Michael Phelps became the greatest Olympian of all time, broke a 2,000-year record for the most individual Olympic titles. If you're breaking like a 2,000-year record, that's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? If they got to go back to the Greeks, that's an impressive record.
He's considered by many to be the greatest Olympian ever. He is its most decorated, and in the pool, its most revered. Clearly, the lane to swimming supremacy wasn't an easy one, because while other kids his age were out partying, Michael Phelps was back at the swimming club doing laps. And when other men had failed to the eyes of a few, Phelps fell hard in front of the masses. He's attained fame and fortune and an Olympic legacy that may never be duplicated. But he's also gained wisdom and maturity, and a happy life outside the pool, thanks to all the hard work put into it. And that is the truth.